if you're anything like me, you're not super creative and you don't have like awesome ideas when it comes to fonts, colors, spacing, background graphics, and that type of thing. And you end up hitting a wall while you're trying to choose the design direction and the aesthetic of your website. So one of the good things about using AI to help you make your website is that you can go ahead and take inspiration from other sites, then feed that to AI, and then you can give it feedback. And then you can refine the design to something that you like and it fits with your style. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to find some inspiration and we're going to feed that to the AI, and we're going to come out with a real homepage hero. And then we're going to use VS Code and Codex to refine it. And then by the end, we'll have a general direction of the design that our agency website is going to look like. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is come up with some kind of color scheme for our website. If you already have a logo, then you can just go ahead and take the colors from your logo. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use these colors right here from this logo. But if you don't, what you can do is you can go ahead and go to the internet for some inspiration. One website that I like for inspiration is this, called 21st.dev. And they have an area called themes. So they have quite a few different themes. This is mainly font and color direction. So yeah, you can go ahead and take a look at any of these. I think this one's, kind of nice. It shows you what a dashboard would look like with different components. And over here on the side, it shows you the different colors that are used. And then you can always go up here and then click dark mode to see what it looked like in dark mode. So after you find the colors that you want, then you can go ahead and make a note of that, write down the hex color codes. Next, we need some inspiration for the overall feel of the website, more like how the fonts and the colors come together to make a complete layout. So we're going to take inspiration from websites that already look good. We're not going to just copy them, but we're going to get a sense of overall layout, spacing, and the feel. So on this website, this is called Dribbble. You can go ahead and scroll through and click into any you want for inspiration on colors, layouts, any styles. So you can just look out for probably font pairings that you think look neat, or color combinations and contrast combinations, or anything like that kind of sticks out to you. And another website is Site Inspire. I'll just list a few different resources that you can go to. Here is Behance. You might have heard of this one before, so you can go here. Another one is bestwebsite.gallery. Take a look through here. And when I was looking through these websites on land-book.com, I found one that I wanted to take inspiration from, and that is right here. This is called Go Getta. So I kind of like the font here. I like the header fonts, and I like the hover style for this button. And I noticed that this green here seems like it will be easily replaced with this kind of teal that I have in this logo. So I can go ahead and lean on that for that part. And then, yeah, as you can see, I think the teal will kind of look good in place of this green. And I like these little super headers. What are they called? These headers above the bigger headers. I like that style. And yeah, I think it will just work pretty well for my website and my style. So this is the one that I'm going to choose to model my website after. So take some time and then go ahead and choose one for yourself. All right, now before we generate anything, you're going to need to decide the general layout of your hero, because again, we're going to create the hero section for the homepage. And this is important because the AI needs direction. So you're going to want to think about what your hero looks like structurally, okay? So this website right here is Brixies. So I used to use Brixies with Bricks Builder, and it's a template library. And here is the hero section templates. So you can easily go here or to another template library to just find some kind of hero section templates that you kind of like the layout of, right? You can use something like this to get inspiration, or just browsing the internet, or those other resources that I had previously told you. Once you have a layout that you kind of like, then what you're going to need to do is you can either use lorem ipsum for your hero copy, or if you want it to feel more real and just like get a little bit more progress in right now, what you can do is go ahead and come up with some copy for your hero section. So what I did is I created a mock-up inside of FreePick, right? So I chose a fairly simple layout. It's basically copy on the left, some text on the left, with a few bullet points and 2 buttons. There's the regular primary button and then the ghost button. And on the right side, we have just an image that goes along with the copy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this image as a whole into VS Code and Codex as part of the direction for when I build the hero. So you can go ahead and collect the copy that you want for your hero section, the general layout, and then if you want, you can go ahead and collect an image as well. Even though we're using Git, what you can do before you start making changes to your website is just go ahead and open up the directory or the folder itself, and then just duplicate it or make a copy. So then you can easily just revert back to this if you want at a later date. Even though we're using Git, this is just another backup that's quite simple to just go ahead and go back to. Once you have that done, you can go ahead and open up VS Code and then go to the Explorer, open folder, and then find your website. All right, we're going to open it up and open up your LLM, whatever you have installed. So I'm using Codex. And then, yep, you can open up index.astro. One of the things to remember is that this down here says the IDE context. Include context from IDEs such as selection state and open file. So since we're going to be working on the homepage hero, you can go ahead and open up index.astro. All right, now we're going to generate the hero using Codex inside of VS Code. So what we're going to do is feed it all of our inputs that we just talked about, our brand colors, our inspiration reference, and the hero layout that we decided on. Then we're going to tell it to build the hero for us. So what we're going to do is go ahead and paste everything inside of Codex to start out with, inside of VS Code here. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to take a screenshot of this entire hero layout. That'll be one of my inputs. Then I'm going to take a screenshot of just this incoming call tracking image right here. Now, this isn't the exact image I'm going to use in the end, but for right now, I'm just going to tell Codex to go ahead and use that as the image inside the actual hero. Then what I need are my actual brand colors. So I'll go ahead and get my primary color, which is this teal. I'll paste that in. Then I'll get the background body. I'll get that color. Go ahead and paste that in. Then I'm going to get my inspiration website. I'm going to paste that in. Then I'm going to add my images. Okay, so now I have my primary color, I have the dark secondary color, and then I have the inspiration website. So then I'm going to kind of freestyle this prompt because my setup and your setup is going to be different. And yeah, since this is an LLM, it's going to be probabilistic, right? So no matter what, we're going to need to adjust it after we send this through, and then see what it looks like and keep adjusting it until it looks like something we like. So here's my prompt. I'm creating the hero section for the homepage. I uploaded 2 screenshots. One is the complete layout that I would like to follow for the hero section. The other is the image, the actual image I would like included in the hero section. My primary brand color is the teal that I uploaded, and then the background body color. You can use that color for the title text and any other area that you see fit for that. But again, the hero section will have a white background. Okay, so go ahead and use the fonts from gogeta.com, which I pasted that URL above, and go ahead and follow the general style and aesthetic of gogeta.com and create a hero section for my homepage. So we'll go ahead and send that. And then after it builds the homepage hero, we can go ahead and have it start the server locally, and then we can go ahead and look at it. So it says, do you want to allow me to fetch GoGeta's live HTML so I can match the homepage fonts and hero styling accurately? So yes, I'll say yes and don't ask again. So when you're coding using Codex and VS Code, these stops happen fairly often. So you'll have to keep an eye on it. That way you can continue with the process. It says, do you want me to to download the Go Get a Font files into this project so the new hero doesn't rely on their site at runtime? Yes, I want to do that. One thing you need to be careful of is that if you're taking fonts from somewhere else, you need to make sure that you have a license for it. So do so at your own risk. Make sure you have a license. Okay, so it said it worked for 5 minutes and 13 seconds, and we have a new homepage hero. All right, so now let's go ahead and start the server and take a look at it. Again, you can start it by bringing up terminal, opening terminal from here, or go up here and click new terminal, and then you can run npm run dev. You can do that here if you want, or you can just go into the chat and then say, tell it to start up a server. Start up a server locally and give me the link so I can see how it looks. All right, we have a link. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so this is the hero that it made. Let's see how it compares to our mockup. Here's the mockup, and here is the output. So this is pretty good. I think it's a little bit cramped, right? For the homepage hero, I want it to have a full width layout. So we want that full width layout, and the buttons look similar to the mockup, but they don't look necessarily the same as this theme right here. So let's go ahead and change the buttons and go ahead and make the header full width. Now, when we're working with Codex to make these adjustments, you can tell it to make all these adjustments at the same time, but it often does better work when you separate them, if that makes sense. So I could focus on the icons in the bulleted list, or I could focus on the buttons, or I could focus on the overall layout. So first I want to fix the overall layout. So I'll go ahead and dictate what I want. I want the hero section to be full width. I also want the image on the right side to be much bigger, and I want there to be less space between the header and the hero section. So then we'll try it out. And another switch you can use is right down here is the reasoning level. So you can go from medium to high to extra high. Extra high will take longer, and yeah, you don't necessarily need it, but maybe for more complex things, I typically just use medium. So we'll go ahead and send it and see what we get. Okay, so this is the revised layout. Now it's looking much better, and this image is much bigger, and it's a little bit blurry, probably because I just took a screenshot, but we're going to replace that, right? So what I want to do now is actually get rid of this Google call tracking pill, this thing right here. So then it will pull everything up a little bit more. And I want to make this pill over here that says local SEO for electricians. I want to pull that closer to the headline. And yeah, I think we'll do that, and then we'll fix the button. On the right side, above the image, there is a pill-shaped heading that says Google call tracking, and underneath that it says website plus maps plus call attribution, and on the right side it says live. I want you to get rid of that entire pill right there, and once that's gone, you can go ahead and pull up the hero section more. Along with that, on the left side, I want the local SEO for electricians pill to be closer to the get more electrical jobs from Google heading. I also want everything on the left side to go up a little bit more. And can you give the 3 bullets their own unique icons? The bullets that say website live in 7 days, show up in Google Maps, and track every call you receive. Can you give them each their own unique icon? Also, underneath the Start Today button, the text that says Start Today for $375, can you put that closer to the button? All right, let's see what it does for us. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So right now we're almost finished with the homepage hero. I think the only thing left to change is this button right here. If we want it to look more like this one, if we want it to be thinner and have this little arrow that comes out. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take a screenshot of it. On the left side, the button that says Start Today, when you hover over it, I want it to have a circle to the right that appears with an arrow, just like it does on the Go Get a website. So if you hover over the button there, an arrow to the right appears, an arrow to the right of the button appears in a circle. I uploaded a screenshot to show you what it looks like from the Go Get a website. Can you go ahead and implement that interaction for me? All right, let's check it out. It works perfectly. It looks pretty cool. And let's see how it compares to the one over here. That one's closer. I like it being a little bit closer too. Do we want the same interaction for this, for the ghost? That way it's on brand. I don't think we need it for that one. For the Start Today button on hover, the arrow inside of the circle is a little bit far away from the Start Today button when it appears. Can you bring it closer so they're almost touching? All right, it's much closer. It's pretty good. Okay, now we have our homepage hero for the most part, and we've made a few decisions. The colors, and we have fonts, and we have some reusable components now, like these buttons. So what we're going to want to do is go ahead and codify this into our design system. Now, this can be changed later, but what we basically want to do is tell Codex that we want it to remember this and then use this as the basis, so that way we have consistency across the website, right? So let's go ahead and do that right now. Based on the hero section that we just created, I want you to extract and standardize the colors and the fonts and the components and all of those type of design decisions. And I want you to create reusable components that we can use across the website, so it's a consistent design across the website. And I want you to codify the fonts, the sizes, and the colors inside of the design system so that we can have a consistent website and a consistent design across the website as well. If you have any questions for further context before you do that, ask. So as you can see, it says, I've confirmed the current site is still mostly raw Tailwind classes. So I'm going to formalize this into tokens plus a few primitives, rather than just keeping one-off hero markup around. So one of the things that you have to watch out for is overrides. Sometimes when you make a design decision, like you want to change a color, a font, or a size, or a spacing, it'll just create a single override for that one specific instance. And it's up to you if you think you only need it for that one specific instance, or if you want that design decision to be used across the entire website. So you have to make that call as you're building your website. So it says that we created a reusable design system based on the hero and wired it into the shared site UI. So the source of truth now lives in global CSS and design system.ts TypeScript. Okay. So you can go ahead and read through here and then see that you now have changes that we made on the site inside of the files as a design system now. And it looks like they changed the book a call button all the way up top here as that happened, right? So the next thing we can do is go ahead and make a git commit. So if you go over here to the source control panel, what you'll see is that there has been 14 different changes made. Now, between each one of the prompts that I have been doing, what you could have done is made a commit between each one. That way you have a saved version history, for just like I said about it being similar to Google Docs. You could have done that between each and every prompt and change that you made. But I'm just going to do this one. So we're going to hit plus, and then we're going to create our message. And I will just say, create homepage hero. Yep, the verb is at the beginning, and it is in the present tense. That's typically the format that you use. Press commit. So right here, there it is, create homepage hero. And then if we want it to go up to Vercel, we can click sync changes, and it's going to go ahead and automatically deploy it. So sync changes. This action will pull and push commits from and to origin main, so our main branch. Again, since we're still working on the very first version of the site and it's not live yet, there's not really a reason to create a second branch for, say, a different feature or a specific page. So I'll click OK, and then it starts to sync our changes. So now that we have synced the changes, if we go over to the Vercel URL, we have our new homepage hero, and it seems to be working all well. Book a call. So let's recap what we just did. we went ahead and found some inspiration and colors, and then we ended up building an actual homepage hero, so we don't have just an empty project skeleton anymore. We have a visual direction, so it's something that we can build on, and if we want to decide to change it later, that's completely fine too. We can just go ahead and reprompt Codex and then change that, and then make it part of the codified design system. So that's pretty much the philosophy that we're going with, is, you know, kind of build it as you go instead of creating a full style guide with fonts and colors set in stone. We can go ahead and build it as we go, right? And the reason that we started with hero instead of something like a blog post is because if you start with a blog post, it's very text heavy, and it's going to look good and usable and readable, but it doesn't really give us a creative direction as much. So that's why I wanted to start with the homepage hero. Now that we have a visual direction, in the next video, we're going to go ahead and build out a full page layout, something like a blog post, right? So we have the glossary and then the posts, different collections. And that's where we're going to probably finalize this things like the typography, the spacing, and some reusable components. Again, they can always be changed later, but we're going to have a pretty solid start on what the whole website is going to look like after that. So if you found value in this video or you want to see the next one, go ahead and click subscribe. Thanks.